thought last year, I never understood why you have to have a second voting. Now I understand why it's necessary. Because when we did it before, so we'll just go with it. He said, no, it's not the majority to clearly show who they actually wanted. So we just, if we're talking about the norm, let's stay with the norm.
The norm is you guys do have nominations before.
Exactly.
And we still have one member that still hadn't voted, so that's still counting, being that it did not have a cutoff date.
That person can vote.
Lori,
Okay.
So where we're at in the process now is that there, now is a vote, is that correct?
Yes, the vote the first.
Or nomination.
We're accepting her nomination. That's what's on the floor for us.
Okay,
So, Mr. Rashid,
yes.
Mr. Mays,
I accept a yes for a vote.
Ms. Shaheed,
Yes.
Ms. Sharpley,
yes.
Mr. Silvera,
Yes.
Dr. Harris,
Abstain.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
That's 6 yeses, 1 abstain. Motion passes.
Motion passed. So now, the next item would be in the swearing and selection of officers. Is I don't think that there's, should we start back by going back to the president first?
Yes, and go to each office.
Okay. So the president, I think that there were 4 votes and 2 for
Mr. Mays.
Mr. Mays?
Yep.
Okay, so now do we actually hold another vote for that?
For the office of president. Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so the next step would be,
And y'all, Mr. Chairman, you're only allowing her to vote for as to whom she wishes to vote. It's not a matter of you voting to put Mr. Severa or anyone else in. She just given her an opportunity to vote for whomever she wishes to vote for.
but I don't think that that's the understanding here, because from
Well,
what
that's the
I'm
only, that's.
understanding from what the board is saying is that they've actually voted for Mr. Severa to become the vice president of this
That
board.
is not what the motion was about.
So this is what the confusion is, because this is, okay, this thing works 2 ways. Say for instance, nobody placed a vote. And then it's a nomination on the floor. And then that nomination is second because that person never had a chance to vote or do a nomination for who they wanted to vote for, right? So if you went to the ballot and you already submitted your vote, can you take your vote back and give it to somebody else?
And I think that was another question that came up
Because you
earlier,
can't.
because they said that the first part was the nominating committee, and
Right.
today would be the
So,
actual
right, so-
vote for the
Right,
office.
so that's what I'm working through. If I gave my ballot to the election board, can I take my ballot back? If I put it in there and say, wait a minute, I want to change my mind, because I don't want to vote for this president, I want another president, can I take my ballot back? You can't take your vote back, right? Once it's in there, it's sealed.
That's correct.
So if they cast a vote, is their vote sealed?
Yeah.
Okay, so the only person that can vote is someone who, what?
Has
Does not
not
vote,
voted.
which is myself. So since I haven't
I agree
voted,
with that.
since I haven't voted, I can vote for
That is correct.
Mr. Severa.
Yeah.
The problem comes from the people who second the vote. Have they voted before?
Yes, they have.
And if they voted before,
They can't vote.
can you vote again? That's the question we're looking at. Can you vote again if you
No.
voted before?
You know, I just thought that it was not a final situation with the nominating committee. I just never saw it as a final vote.
So this is where, so here's where it comes into when we're placing the vote, should we already start tallying them up before we even get here? Are we with the process? Because we don't have a cutoff time, so everything's just coming in. When should we, because it's just open and we are here today and like, oh, wait a minute, we want to do something else, we can't go back on what we
That is correct.
did.
That is correct.
I think that's the problem.
That's the problem. Because she's already voted. And she has not voted. She hasn't had it.
So moving forward, does Severa have enough votes to be on the ballot? for
That's
president?
what we're gonna find out now. So I placed my vote for,
So there's actually a three, if
He
you
only
didn't
had
hear a
two.
vote,
So-
No, he does not.
you have 3 votes, Mr. Mays, Dr. Harris has 2 votes. With her vote, I have 2 votes, and that still puts 3 people up for, to be voted on for vice president.
It does not.
Yes, it does.
it's a majority.
Because it's a
Yeah,
tie.
I guess I agree with that part. The person that has, well, okay.
Okay, so that makes sense,
Yeah.
because the 2 runners up would be
But this-
Dr. Harris.
We're tied at 2 votes.
And so the 3 of
The three of
Three of
them.
them.
Three of them.
Okay, so how do we now vote for the office of vice
So
president?
we can,
We still got to
We're
vote.
still about to vote.
Yeah.
We still got
I have
to
a-
I have still have the number of votes.
Right.
Look, we're about to do the vote now. Mr. Turner has the ballot, but she's adding Mr. Severa
Yeah.
to that ballot.
Now we can vote because the ballot changed.
Well, we should fill out this entire ballot.
Just put it check next to the first thing you want. For each office.
For each office.
Voted again. That's double vote.
Not double vote. I can remember several years ago when I was on the board prior, there was a nominating committee that came up with 2 different slates. So we ended up having to have a January meeting to actually vote for who they won because we had 2 different slates of officers for each position.
We can-
So the nominating committee meeting in December is never about the final vote. It's making recommendations and putting forth,
2 candidates to get the most
to get
votes.
the
Right.
vote.
but you always, as practicality, always open the floor for any further, any nominations that may come up from the time of December meeting to the January.
That is,
I got,
that's not totally true.
okay.
Any office, I don't care whether it's private, state, county, or federal, that this is totally illegal. Yeah, you don't have mine.
Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ballots. Turner will be taking the talent information.
There should be 7.
It should be 7.
There should be 7 ballots.
1, 2, 3. Oh, 1 is mixed up. We have 7. Okay, first ballot. President Rashid, Vice President Silvera, Secretary Shahid, then Fiscal Officer Cotfield. Second ballot, Rashid, President, Silvera, Vice President, Shahid, Secretary, Cotfield, Fiscal Officer. Third ballot, Rashid, President, Mays, Vice President, Sharpley, Secretary, Cotfield, no vote, Fiscal Officer. Next ballot, Rashid, President, Severa, Vice President, Shahid, Secretary, Fiscal Officer, Cotfield. This ballot, no vote for President, no vote for Vice President, no vote for Secretary, Cotfield, vote for Cotfield, Fiscal Officer. Vote for Rashid, Vice President, vote for Severa, Secretary Shahid, and no vote for Cotfield. Although we're not voting for this purpose. Last ballot, Rashid, President, Vice President Severa, Secretary Shahid, Fiscal Officer Cotfield. Connie, could you read off the tally? Okay.
President, 5 votes for Mr. Rashid. For Vice President, 1 vote for Mr. Mays, 5 votes for Mr. Silvera. For Secretary, 5 votes for Ms. Shahid, 1 vote for Ms. Sharpley, and Mr. Cockfield, 5 votes for Fiscal Officer.
Okay, we are, congratulations.
Good afternoon. I'm Jerry Coons here. You want us to come back? You want us to move there, or you want to square us in up here, or?
Would it be easier for you guys to do it here?
Better in the back.
You probably need a 5-minute recess, and the reason for that, someone needs to pour in. And I figured you could have one here in the library, you just didn't get it.
Okay.
So I'm just asking, I'm not saying to do that, I'm just.
Oh, no, but that's just
Suggesting.
Chinese preference, that's what we're trying.
Break it off. Look it out, right? So you need to have someone to get that.
Can we call for a recess or?
Mr. Chair, I move for 15-minute recess.
So moved.
Got it.
15-minute recess.
You got a second?
Good second.
You have a microphone.
Got a couple of them.
I got all my pictures set. I was in there today. I'm good to show. I got all my pictures set aside.